Ready? Chapter 38 The Lost Battle. Keon and Aino joined Atle and Nila at one of the campfires. Nila, can you tell me about the lost battle of the mages? Aino said as she turned to the general.
What do you want to know? He asked her.
How did you see through Edda and Jorun at the battlefield? She asked in return.
Wait, you knew?
Atle cut in.
Yes, I knew, he answered the lieutenant general.
Then why didn't you tell me after the battle? Why did you keep Edda and Jorun?
If I were to throw them out, it would only cause more disarray. They did it so that we could have peace, so that we could be one army. In the end, it's what we all want, isn't it?
Atle looked at his general. Peace is all I ever wanted.
Nila turned back to Aino. In order for you to understand, I'll have to explain how our army is constructed. Please sit down.
Aino and Keon did as he said.
The army is led by me, the general. Before the last battle, the army consisted of around 3,200 soldiers and officers. We therefore only have one army corps, which was previously led by the Lieutenant General Victor. He could therefore command the entire army, unless I decided otherwise. The army corps is divided into two divisions. The bigger one, the 1st Division, with around 2,000 mages, is Major General Eddas to command. In short, the only one whose order rings above hers is the General and the Lieutenant General. I and Victor before, I and Atle now. The smaller one, the 2nd Division, consisted of around 1,200 mages. A former Major General was in charge of it. He died on that battlefield, as I'm sure you already know. Disa is now the Major General of this division, having taken his place. However, this division was almost completely obliterated during the last battle. We are planning on rebuilding it with newly graduated cadets. I and Ayla have also talked about a possible merger between the two blood armies. That way we could reconstruct and rebuild, creating one blood army. A division consists of 2 brigades, each led by a brigadier general. Atle and Jorun were in charge of the 2 brigades in Edda's division, the 1st and 2nd brigade. Now it's Jorun and Arvid. Each of those brigades consists of around 1,000 people. The other division had 2 smaller brigades, the 3rd and 4th brigade, the largest of them led by a brigadier general, and the smaller led by a colonel. They both died in the last battle, so I appointed Jarl as the new brigadier general. Tyr was promoted from lieutenant colonel to colonel and took over the smallest brigade. For now there is only one platoon, the 32nd platoon, Disa's former platoon. I promoted one of her soldiers to 2nd lieutenant in her place so that they could lead it. Otherwise the rest of the platoon, 17th to 31st, are still not rebuilt. As it stands now, I think I'm going to hold off on making any decisions for a new brigadier general. If the 2 armies reforms as one, they might be taken care of. In the last battle we were outnumbered, 4,000 against our 3,200. However, when it came time for the fighting, only around 1,200 on our side fought. Edda ordered all of our officers and soldiers to stand down. 2,000 stood and watched as the rest of the army was slaughtered. Nila got a sad expression on his face.
So it was never your order? I was informed that it had been changed to a 2-step attack, that we would engage later, once you gave the order. Atle looked at his general.
No, however, I discovered it too late. I rushed into battle as always without any thought that I could be betrayed. When I noticed how they knew our every move, how they had traps set at just the right places, ambushes in just the right corners, I knew something was wrong. I looked back and saw an entire division just standing there, doing nothing. It was clear to me that Atle was distressed, but Edda and Jorun were a different story. Edda wasn't moving a muscle. She had the same cold expression as always. She knew this was coming and she wasn't going to do anything to stop it. Yulin, on the other hand, looked directly at me. She followed me closely, observing me. She was waiting for the moment I would give up in order for us to retreat. Then I turned back towards the battlefield, only to see Ayla in front of me, crushing the skull of my then Lieutenant General. I don't think I've ever felt so horrified and liberated at the same time. Niila took a deep breath as tears started forming in his eyes. I hated that man. I hated him so much, yet I would do anything for him. He would abuse me on a daily basis, when no one else saw, when no one else heard. He would hit me, call me names and tell me how useless I was. He made me think I couldn't do anything without him. He made me doubt my own memory and my capabilities. He knew I couldn't say no to him, and he used it. He used me and our army. He used everyone for his own goals. I forgave him for everything he did, no matter how bad it was. He made me hate myself. I became such a weak man around him. I saw him make bad decision after bad decision. Every time I spoke up against him, it would always end the same way. He would hit me and call me worthless afterwards. Eventually I did everything I could to avoid his anger, even if it meant agreeing to things I would never have otherwise. His tears fell to the ground. Atle looked at him. I think we all knew deep down that Victor was a bad person, but that he was doing it to you out of all people. Why didn't you say something? Tell someone. I was bigger and stronger than him. Who would have believed me? Niila said quietly. Why didn't you hit back when he hit you? Atle asked him. I couldn't hurt him. Brother, the voice came from behind Niila. He looked around and saw his sister standing there. She gave him a saddened smile. Since when? Niila looked down at the ground. Since we were teenagers. So that's why you defended him back then. The whole thing about honor was just an excuse. You were willing to do all of this just to be with him, she asked her brother. I wanted to be with him so bad. I cut off everyone that mattered in my life for him. It was never supposed to be like this. The army, it was never supposed to happen. He kept telling me that it was a good idea. Eventually, he got into my head. He twisted my thoughts and made me think I needed to do it. I wanted to accept your offering of truth so many times. I wanted it so bad. Yet every time he would talk me out of it, say that I was weak for giving in to you. Every single mage who died on that battlefield, it's on me. I caused it. It was my fault. Ayla shook her head. No, it was my army who killed them. It was my order they followed. If anyone is guilty, it is me. She sat down next to him. I'm impressed by you, though. You've come a long way. The old Niila I knew would have had Atle's head. I mean, for letting our creator get shot twice by both arrows and bullets. You really have your anger in check now compared to... She didn't get any further than that as Niila sprung to his feet. Atle did what? He turned his head towards the Lieutenant General, who was already running away. You come back here, right now! He yelled as he ran after him. Ayla wrinkled her forehead. I thought you had a briefing about everything. You talked for quite some time. She turned to Aino. No, Niila was just explaining the details of how his army works. I asked him about the last battle of the mages, she responded. I see. Well, I hope Atle gets to keep his head. He seems like a nice enough guy, she said and shrugged. Why didn't you come to me? Aino looked at Ayla. The general looked back at her. What do you mean? Instead of killing 1,200 people, why didn't you come to me? I waited for you and Niila for 30 years. I was still in the north. It didn't take long for all of you to find me once you started looking. Why didn't you come and find me before the last battle? It was my blood that made you this way. Why didn't you turn to me? Aino was both sad and frustrated. So many lives lost that could have been saved. Ayla shook her head. This wasn't your fault.
None of this was your fault. There was nothing you could have done. Nila was in his grasp. If I'd known back then what I know now, I would have gone after Victor when we were teenagers. Both Nila and I care deeply about you, but not even you would have been able to fix this. You heard my brother. He was in love with a man who didn't even understand the concept of love. Victor used and manipulated him. He pulled all the right strings. This was the only way I could get through to my brother. Victor had to die, and with him all those incompetent people he had brought in to poison the army. The 2nd Division, the 3rd and 4th Brigade, every single one of those mages were put there by him. I know not all of them were bad seeds. A few of them even survived, but in the end I needed officers and soldiers loyal to Nila, not Victor. I had been fed information for years by Banke, relayed from Edda and Jorun. I knew exactly what I was doing. I am the general of my army. This was the hardest decision of my life, but it was the right one. I made the order. Call it heartless if you want. It won't change the fact that I made the right call.